If you're watching this, then you probably already know how important it is to have a high converting and aesthetically pleasing email cohesively. Now, it is not difficult to do. Your brand needs conversions and it comes from the email campaign. So I'm going to show you exactly how you can build one out in Canva without needing a complicated process or without the need for a massive graphic design team. So I'm going to show you step by step how to build it out with high quality and in the best converting way possible. Now, I'm going to cut through all the fluff, just going to jump straight into it. But before I do, what I do want to say is if you're looking to work with an agency that can handle all of your email marketing for you with a guarantee to where we guarantee that we'll double your revenue in 90 days or less, or we'll work for free until we do, then go down below and book in a call with my team and we'll see you on the other side. But for now, I'm just going to go into the back end and walk you through exactly how to build out an email. Alright, so just jumping into the back end here, I'm just showing you one of the emails that we built out in Canva. So you can see all of these elements. I mean, these are not images. These are customizable elements that I'm going to show you step by step on how to create, how to edit, everything. So it's going to be pretty simple, but I do want to cover a few things first before going into detail about any of this, because I think it is important to have some of the main elements in place. And we follow a very simple formula. So what we do when we look at emails is we like to make sure that we're following a formula where in the first 5 seconds of looking at the email, they know exactly what it's about and what their offer is if there's an offer, and the additional information only comes afterwards. Okay, so this is a very good rule of thumb, especially if you're a wellness or a supplement brand. So first thing first is we always start off with the logo, but what we don't do is we avoid any header menu items. This was a very old meta, it doesn't work anymore. Right now, what is prioritized is less images and more of a diverse background or more diverse design, where there is a really good balance of images to text. So you want to make sure that's the case and not everything is an image. So you are breaking away anything that is too complicated, anything that's too messy. Literally just your main image or background. So this, for example, is just a background. Then you want your logo. Then you want the main caption or the main headline. So in some cases, it will be, instead of this, it will be 50% off site-wide. Okay, and then you're going to show the products that you're talking about. Then you want a call to action, and then you want some additional information. Usually in between this will be some kind of copy-pastable code. Again, these are things that you can build in the back end of Canva or your email platform. But for now, I'm just going to show you how to build this out, right? So it's very clean. It works really well as a high converting email, but just remember that 5-step process where you, number 1, have the logo, number 2, have a clear headline, number 3, display the product itself, number 4, have a CTA, and then number 5 only will you have some kind of additional information. So it's very important to remember. And then underneath all of that, once you cover those steps, you can add some additional info products or whatever it is. So just to give you an idea of how we build these out. Now, first things first is we build out a bunch of templates, or we save a bunch of templates in Pinterest. No, it seems basic, but it is very important for you to go ahead, save some templates that you really like, and then it's so much easier to go copy paste and try find a way to make it work. Okay, so for example, we have a huge folder of just email templates that we think are really nice. So if we think that this is good, we'll just go ahead and find all the elements for it. But I wanted to choose a more complicated design so you can get a better idea. So again, we're just going to build this step by step together, and I'll show you exactly how. First things first, you want to open Canva. And you do want to ideally make sure you have the pro version. It's not absolutely detrimental if you don't, but it is important. So go ahead and then go to the custom size. Now, for our sizes, it's gonna differ. But for example, what I want to go ahead and do is make it 600. 600 is always the width. The height will depend on you. This one, I'm just going to make a 3000 by a 600 by 3390. Going to go ahead and create that. Now, one thing I do want you to know is I've already saved all of the elements that we would need. So you'll just go save the logo, you'll save the background, whatever it is that you want to go and do. And you can always do this as you go. But for now, what I want to do is I just want to put together the elements. So first things first is we'll start with the background. Okay, so you can just go create the groundwork for what your email will look like, and you can always go ahead and adjust as you go along. So for this one, we're just going to go ahead and expand it. So there we go. That is our background, and personally, I'm going to move it up. So yeah, this is our background, pretty simple, straightforward. And what I want to go ahead and do is I know for a fact that I want a custom font. Okay, so what I would do is if I want to add a font, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to upload a font. Okay, so here where it says brand kit, you can actually add your brand fonts, and over here you can upload. Okay, so you can upload a font, and I have gone ahead and saved one. So this is the one that I want to upload. You can find one that you really like and then you want to add it. You don't necessarily have to. You can find anything that they have pre-built, but for me personally, I do much more prefer this. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're actually just going to go ahead and build it underneath here. Okay, so you've created your simple design. Now this is going to make it faster for me, but I recommend that you do it in a separate file, obviously, and you're not going to have a file to pull from. So again, you want to add everything that you need. I'm just going to redo the background quickly. So yeah, now we got that sorted. Everything looks good here. Now what we want to go ahead and do is we want to add the logo at the top, like I said. So this is always the most important part of the design, is that you're not adding complexity. So you don't want to add multiple different things. This is going to go on here. Okay, so we're just going to change the size up there, and then we want our headline as usual. So what I like to go ahead and do is I don't like flat facing text. I prefer to have my text with a gradient, and that's what I want to do with this specific text. This is how we got this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how we would do it. So I'm just going to add a heading, and I'm going to make it this, okay? And this built for, okay, and personally gonna change up the size a little bit. So built for, okay? Now, what we want to go ahead and do is we want to go to apps, because this to me is boring. So I want to go ahead to apps, and I'm going to go search for gradients. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to click on this one and you want to download it. Now we've got gradients, and now you're going to actually go ahead, remove that text, and you're going to build it out in here. So built for, and then you're going to go ahead and just add the gradient colors. So personally, I don't need this middle color. I'm going to go ahead here. I'm going to go and find the color that I really like that is along for the brand. So let's just say that. And this one will be, okay, wait. So we'll go here, and then this one's going to be maybe a black or a gray over here. Okay. And built for. Cool. So we're going to add this to our design. You're going to see it here. And now we've got this really nice gradient that we can work with. And now what I went ahead and did is I just go and do this. So revival is what I wrote here. Get a revival, update, and then we have our main text. Okay, so obviously you'll play around with the colors. You can see it's slightly different. You just need to go ahead and adjust to as you like. Now, next thing I want to do is I want to add the main hero image, which is the most important thing. So again, I've already got the product images saved. You just need to go and edit them as you please. So I know that this is the product I want to talk about, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to add it in the center here. And because it is, just a white and black product, what I want to do is I think that clouds will look like a really good element. So we're just going to go ahead here. We're going to search for clouds, and we're going to add this in. So this is a realistic photo, and I'm just going to go in, and then I'm going to copy paste it. So, I mean, you know the shortcuts, but I'm just going to do it so you can see that's what I'm doing. And then I'm going to place it around the product. And what I like to do is I like to add a bit of a 3D, I kind of backwards forwards effect by moving this backwards behind the product. Okay, and then you can kind of adjust as you see fit. So go ahead there, and pretty much that's it. That is pretty much done. And you can even go ahead add one at the back here. So I want to add this backwards, and I want to make it a bit of a darker cloud. Okay, so there we go. There we go. We have like a really high quality looking image. And now what is most important, again, according to our design elements, is I want a CTA. So what I like to do is I like to come here, and I like to go to the elements, and I like to look for, so if I just clear this, I like to look at shapes, and I like to add this. Okay. And I like to always make a call to action, the branding colors, or a different color to the rest of the email. It really stands out as a CTA instead of just a regular button. And then I'm just going to add some background to it and make it black. So we're going to make this black. Perfect. So now we have it standing out a little bit. We want to make it slightly bigger. We want a clear call to action, and I'm going to centralize it. Now, what I like to do is I'll add the text, and again, just keep it the same font that you've used. So, okay. So I just need to change the text to what we are using in this specific document and your branding colors. I'm going to minimize it, add it here, and make it black. Always black on a lighter background. Okay, so we're good there. I would just change this to the closer colors and make sure this is center. Okay, cool. So that looks good. It is a bold, so that's perfect. Then we want to add our additional text. So again, just go ahead and add another text box. And this is where you're going to put your additional information. So this would be like a sale. So for example, if we wanted to change this, try 50% off, and this, we will make some kind of sale text. So I'm just going to copy paste this for the sake of it, and show you how I resize. So this to me is way too big. So I'm just going to go down a bit. It is already the right font, and I'm just going to make sure it is mobile optimized. Okay, so just kind of change it up there. You can change it however you want. That to me looks better. And we're going to place it down. Now is the next part of the elements. So here we have another heading, and then we have these elements. So this part is a little bit more complicated, but it is a lot simpler than it looks. So again, we're just going to go ahead, and what I like to do is I like to go to the elements I've already built, copy paste it, and then I'm just going to change it up. Okay, so double click here, and then Y. So we're just going to change this Y. Okay. Y, and then we just want to locate a must have. Okay. And then must have. Okay. We're just going to update the elements, and we're going to make sure the sizing is all good. To me, that is pretty much good. So now that we have that, now we want to make it a little bit more of an infographic. Okay, so I know for sure I want an element over here, so I'm just going to kind of upsize it a little bit and add it into the corner here. Okay, and I will even rotate it slightly so there's a better cutoff. So we have this now, perfect to me. And now what I want is I want to make a bit more of an infographic. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to search a circle. So I search circle. I like the look of this one. Again, it's a pro one, but you can use whatever. And I'm going to match it to the coloring of the rest of the email, the branding colors. Okay. So all of the important elements I like to make in color, and all the others just, basic pretty much. So we're just going to add that. And then again, what I want to do is I'll just go add my own text, and 86%. Okay. So we're just going to add this, and that is going to stay white. And now I'm just going to copy paste this because it's already the sizing of everything I need. 80%. And this one, we're just going to change to 76%. 6%. Okay. So just adding some, simple elements, making it a well-rounded graphical design. And then we're just going to take this information. So obviously I'm just going to copy paste what I wrote here, but you will go ahead and you'll add text. You'll change the sizing as you please. So for me like this, and then I want it to be aligned to the left. So I'm just going to change the size, and then obviously the font back to where we were. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy paste this and do it to the information that it was before. Yeah. And yeah, you should have your information ready. Usually you can use ChatGPT and you can go copy paste it or whatever it is that you need. And I'm just going to copy paste this, but you get the point. Now the point is that this I want to move up slightly. So I like to group things just so that if I am moving things around, yeah, I can just keep it together. So I like to group it. And then this I'll move slightly down. And then as you can see from the top part here, I have these elements. So I like to add a little bit of variety, which not just black and white, but you can choose however you want to do it. For me, I want to add a little bit of difference. So what I want to go ahead and do is search for new elements. And personally, I want to add a little bit of some waviness to the design. So this won't work because this is not editable. So I'm going to remove that. And you want to find things that you can kind of change the color for. So for this, I'm going to use this. I'm going to make it like this. Make it kind of a nice element. I'm going to move it backwards and I'm going to change the color to this gray. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another one. So I just copy pasted it and I'm going to make it slightly transparent. So it's like a darker version of itself and move it backwards. Okay. So there you have that. And then I'm going to add this and make it the same kind of color so that it looks like a wave. And again, you can kind of do this as you want, but this is just personal preference. So we're going to add that. And again, we're going to do the same thing where I copy paste it. I'm just going to make it slightly transparent. Okay. So there we go. And then what I want to do is I'm just going to copy paste this to make it easier, keep the same CTA and paste it over here. So very simple. Then we're moving on to the last elements. Again, we have this kind of text and then some more graphics. So just going to go ahead, choose the graphic, going to place it here, and then I'm going to add some of the information. So I'm writing more transformation. Okay. Okay. Update it, and then you can change up the sizing. Perfect. And then we're just going to keep it here. Okay. Transformation. Perfect. Cool. So to me, that looks good again. The gradients, again, it just adds a whole different element. And then from here, we're just going to add whatever else we need. So for here, we're just going to add some information. This is the way I like to set it up. So for example, this will be super quick. As you can see, it's going to find a cross. So I just added this plus symbol and I found the one that I like. So for example, this one is actually nicer. I'm going to make it white so it's visible and I'm going to drag it down. And I'm just going to make it a talking point. So I'm going to add this. And then what I like to do is I like to add a bigger heading for the element. Okay, this element heading. Okay, whatever. And I'm going to keep it in line. I'm going to minimize it slightly. So we're going to make that, and then all the text will be slightly smaller than that. Okay, so you'll obviously just go ahead. I'll just copy paste what we've written here. And you're just going to change up the sizing. So I personally just prefer to do this and drag and drop. So you can choose whatever you want and then you can go copy paste this, but I want it personally to the left facing. And there we go. And then what we'll do is we'll just copy paste this and add whatever else information and then copy paste and add other information. And then at the bottom of the email, we will have another CTA. So after every section, I like to add a CTA. But that's pretty much as simple as it is to create a high quality graphic. You just need a really good background. You need to think about all the elements and the branding colors, and that is pretty much it. So you can see it looks pretty much identical to this. It took me super quickly to build out, and the best way to do it is with a reference, I'll be honest. So what I like to do is I like to come here and then I like to look at how I can rebuild this in Canva. So I'll look for the different elements. If I see that they've gotten, I don't know, they've got 3 different product images, I'll do exactly that. If I see that they've changed up their font from time to time, I'll do that same thing. So whatever you like in an email, you can steal. You know, there's no original idea and there's no harm in that. So for example, this one, I know that to build this out, you'd have to use different effects in the font. You would have to find different images of fruit and you would add them in. And then you would add this little wave with different text. So it's not complicated. It's very, very, very easy to build out. This one, you know, you would just find a star and then you would add them next to each other. You would put, you know, everything together. You would find an image of capsules and put it next to the bottle, add a bit of a shadow. And then this one, you'll just add one of those shapes that I told you with some text in between. So it's very very, very, very simple to build out. But hopefully this was helpful. And if you guys want me to do another video where I go ahead and I build this out in the back end of Klaviyo specifically, or any other platforms, I can easily go ahead and do that. But again, if you're looking for an agency to just come in, do all of the legwork for you and build these high quality graphics and designs, then let me know. Go down below and book in a call with me, and I'll see you on the other side. But otherwise, I hope this was helpful.